Welcome to the end of 2019. I got some much needed time off this month, so I've been continuing on with some interviews and spending some much needed time at home with family. Since it's the end of 2019 and the end of the decade, I thought I'd take this month's video to talk about some favorites that I've enjoyed this year, in alphabetical order by category, because that's how I roll. Let's go. My app of the year, hands down, is Notion. If, like me, you're just a little bit obsessed with productivity and organization, and you want an app that can do everything, this is the app for you. You can make to-do lists, organize all kinds of information using databases, which are basically like tables or spreadsheets, but a lot more flexible. Plan big projects, write down recipes, create bookmarks, create your own personal or business wiki. It's amazing. This app is free for everyone to use with a limited amount of storage space, but if you have a .edu email address, you can basically access all of Notion's features for free. The learning curve can be a little steep, but it's worth a try. And for me, Notion actually consolidates the functions of several apps that I used to use into one place. For book of the year, I actually have two books. You'll notice that I have more than one favorite for many of these categories. The first book that I want to mention is my favorite nonfiction book of the year, and that is The Immortal Life of Henrietta. I know I'm a little bit late to the game on this book, but it really is amazing. I listened to it via audiobook on Libby, and the narrators, Cassandra Campbell and Bonnie Turpin, are just incredible. You know, the written book is probably still just as good, but there's something about the variety and the energy in the voices of the narrators that really gave life to the story. It's a sprawling story, really well written and well researched. And if you work with cell or tissue cultures or patients, or even if you don't work with either, this book is worth a read. My favorite fiction book this year is The Hate You Give. I also listened to this via audiobook on Libby. This narrator was Bonnie Turpin. Again, I guess she just found her way into my heart this year. This book came very highly recommended by John Green, and I was finally able to read it this year. It tackles police brutality, systemic racism, and socioeconomic privilege from the perspective of one African-American teen. It is such a timely book, and it captures our modern struggle with inequity in such a profound way. My game of the year is one that I played a lot more in the first half of the year, but it is still amazing, and that one is Stardew Valley. If you grew up playing Harvest Moon like I did, and you want to recapture some of that nostalgia, but with multiplayer options and the ability to add mods, then you'll love this game. I have three favorite memories from this year, each in a different place. The first one is when my mom and I first landed in Shanghai, China, and my uncles took us to a little noodle restaurant that looked completely unremarkable, but had amazing noodles. That was a very happy meal. My next favorite memory isn't a particular moment, but it's kind of a series of moments. I had a lot of fun traveling around California with Chai this year. We did rotations in Los Angeles and San Francisco at various points throughout the year, and we often overlapped in time, so we were able to be in the same place. We also were able to schedule a lot of our interviews together, so we got to explore various airports and learn about different cities together. The last memory of the year is, again, not a specific moment, but a series of moments. Before I moved out of Connecticut, I was able to visit the Mexican food trucks along the New Haven Long Wharf a couple of times, and I have several happy memories of walking down the wharf, eating tacos and other dishes, and then sitting out on the grass and looking out at the water. I listen to a lot of music, and this year I got Spotify Premium, which greatly increased both the quality and quantity of my music listening. It's hard for me to pick a song of the month, let alone a song of the year, but I've chosen 5 songs that kind of capture my taste in music this year. Pool Party is apparently my top song on Spotify this year, which is probably because I listen to it a lot while studying or doing focused work. It's an instrumental song that probably falls into the chill hop genre. I think it's relaxing yet upbeat, if that makes any sense. Wherever I Go is one of my favorite OneRepublic songs, and I really wish it was longer. I love the chord progression, the driving pace, and Ryan Tedder's soaring vocals in the chorus. I listened to the song on loop when it first came out, and I haven't really stopped since. Come Along is my favorite song by Pentatonix this year. It's got a groove that makes you want to dance, and Pentatonix's harmonies are beautiful and complex as always. I really like Matt's low C's in the bass line and Mitch's incredible high G. Melody of Gathering was a random discovery and I'm really glad that Spotify helped me find this song. It has some really cool Middle Eastern instrumentation, but combines that with piano and bass and a really jazzy feel. Springfield comes from Chen, a pianist and an incredible composer who wrote 2 albums that combine classical Western instruments with traditional Chinese instruments, especially the pipa, which makes me very happy. The 2 albums are called On in Between and Ergo, and Springfield is probably my favorite song from the 2 albums. It features piano, pipa, and erhu. Picking my restaurants of the year was tough. I was lucky enough to eat a lot of good food this year, but I finally decided on one pick for Connecticut and one for California. My Connecticut pick is Kuro Shiro in New Haven. I went there twice this year and had good ramen with good friends. Not too much more to say about that. My California pick for restaurant of the year is Brenda's French Soul Food in San Francisco. I hadn't been there before this year, and then I proceeded to go twice in the span of 1 month because it was just that good. Their fried chicken and their beignets are really good, but I think their biscuits alone are worth going for. To end my favorites of the year, let's talk about study spots, because in the end, I'm a student and study space is often at a premium. Again, I'm going to pick one spot for Connecticut and one for California. My pick for the Connecticut study spot of the year is Cedarhurst Cafe. I don't really do caffeine, but their Nutella latte and their hot chocolate are both quite good, and they have some nice lunch options as well. They have plenty of table space, good outlet access, and even some exercise ball chairs if you want to feel super productive. I studied there a lot when I was studying for both steps 1 and 2, and I thought that space was really nice. As for my California study spot of the year, I'm throwing it back to college and shouting out UC Berkeley's CV Star East Asian Library. The interior and exterior of the space are both just beautiful, and if you can snag a seat, there's really good table space and plenty of outlets per person. I got to study there a few times this year when I was doing away rotations, and it just reminded me of how much I loved that library when I was in college. Plus, most of Berkeley's libraries are accessible to the public. I think the only one that you can't access is Mainstacks, and no one actually wants to go to Mainstacks anyway. That'll be it for my assortment of favorites this year. 2019 was a pretty good year for me, and I'm looking forward to 2020. Whether this is the first video you've ever watched or you've watched my videos for quite a while, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next decade.